In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the green-white starter deck Saddle Up. Now, this is a deck that's all about mounts, saddling up on those mounts, and riding into victory. So we're going to take a look at the deck, see what we can do to change it around and make it a little bit more concise, all under a budget of 15 rare and mythic wild cards. So let's go take a look at the deck and play some games. Okay, so here we are with the original Saddle Up starter deck that the game gives you upon completing your tutorials. And this deck is okay. It's okay to start with. It's got some questionable stuff in it, but we can definitely fix this up for some good games. So let's take a look at what this deck wants to play. We have Acrobatic Leap. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. Untap it. Not bad. It's a pretty cool combat trick. Save a creature. We got 2 copies of Steer Clear. It deals 2 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. Steer Clear deals 4 damage instead if you controlled a mount as you cast this spell. So this will almost always be deal 4. Then we got 2 copies of Ankle Biter. It is a 1/1 Death Touch Snake for 1 mana, which can be used to crew a few things, but not a whole lot. Like, let's take a look at the creatures that can be saddled for 1 in this deck. Fortune can be saddled for 1, that's true. Let's see. What else do we have in here? Drover Grizzly can be saddled by a snake, so then you can attack with a bear snake. Let's see. Tumbleweed is 2. What else we got? Congregation Griff is 3. Giant Beaver is 3. And Bounding Feldar is 2. So yeah, there's only a couple things in here that you can saddle up with the Ankle Biter, so that's probably going to be a card that's not going to make the cut. Past that, we have Cooped Up. It is a standard arrest card with a extra ability to exile the creature. Then we have Bristleback Sentry. This is a 3/3 defender, but it can attack if you have a creature with power 4 or greater. Intrepid Stablemaster, this is your mana ramp creature for the saddle deck. It adds 2 mana of any one color if you want to cast a mount or a vehicle. So that has its uses. Throw from the Saddle, this is a striking spell for mounts. However, it's sorcery speed, so can't really buy that. Not when there are so many better spells at instant speed. So Throw from the Saddle's probably not going to make it either. Seraphic Seed, fantastic card. Probably my favorite mount creature. The first strike and lifelink on a 2/2 body for 2 mana on its own is already fantastic. But the ability to create angels when saddled, that just takes it to a whole nother level. Fortune, Loyal Steed. Fortune is a great card. I love that it scries for 2 when it enters. However, this deck doesn't really have a whole lot of good entering the battlefield effects to abuse with the blink effect on it. So probably not going to be utilizing this a whole lot. I might keep it as a 1-of in the deck. Moment of Valor, this is an interesting effect, but it's too expensive. It says choose 1. Untap target creature, it gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible till end of turn. So it's a good protection spell. Or you can destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So it's a versatile spell. You can use it to kill opposing creatures that are just in your way, or save your creature from some removal. I think it's a good card, but it's a little too expensive for what it does. There are better options. Thousand Moons Infantry. Now this is an interesting creature because it untaps on your opponent's turn. So you can use it to mount up a creature on your turn and then have the Thousand Moons Infantry untap on your opponent's turn so that you get a blocker. So it's not a bad card. Vengeful Townsfolk, 3/3 for 3. Whenever 1 or more other creatures you control die, put a +1/+1 counter on Vengeful Townsfolk. Not bad, but this is a card that's maybe for a different deck. Maybe for a deck that you want your creatures to die, not one where you might get a bonus if your creatures die. Drover Grizzly, it's a 4/2 for 3 mana. Whenever it attacks while saddled, creatures you control gain trample until end of turn, which is great, especially when you start to snowball and get like really big creatures. Speaking of which, Henri Tumblerag. 3 mana, 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever Ornery Tumblewag attacks while saddled, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. And it saddles up for only 2. So this can snowball out of hand really quickly and would pair really well with the Drover Grizzly. Next up, we get the Outcaster Trailblazer. It's a 4/2 for 3 mana. When it comes in, you add a mana of any color. Whenever another creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. So this is one of the few instances of a card that works really well with Fortune. Congregation Gryff is a very interesting creature. I like this one a lot, actually. 1/4 flying lifelink for only 3 mana. Whenever Gryff attacks while saddled, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of mounts you control, and it saddles for 3. So not too bad. Almost anything can saddle it, especially once you start throwing +1/+1 counters around, and it can become a pretty big threat in the sky. Wily Duke, a teen hero. This is like one of those like linchpin creatures that works really well for this deck. It's a 4/2 vigilance for only 3 mana. Whenever Wily Duke, a teen hero, becomes tapped, you gain a life and draw a card. So this is a card that really wants to be the mount, or the mounter. Because of the fact that it has vigilance, which means you're not going to get that bonus effect when you attack with it. You're going to need to tap it down with your mounts in order to get that life gain and the card draw. Giant Beaver, 4/4 for 4 mana, vigilance. On its own, not too bad. It's an at-rate creature with vigilance. And then whenever Giant Beaver attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature that saddled it this turn. So he spreads a little bit of love around. He's pretty cool. Then we got Railway Brawler. This guy's really cool. I like him a lot. For 5 mana, you get a 5/5 Reach Trample. Whenever another creature you control enters, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its power. So this guy works really well towards snowballing your creatures. And he has plot for 4, which means if you don't have anything else you're doing on turn 4, plot him away, play him on a later turn, maybe on a turn where you're going to be attacking with some really big creatures. Then we have Bounding Felidar, 6 mana, so he's very expensive, but he's at 4/7. Whenever Bounding Felidar attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. You gain 1 life for each of those creatures. So it's a very powerful effect on a decently sized body, but it's 6 mana. 6 mana for a creature that doesn't protect itself. So it's a lot to invest for a creature like this. And then you have Gruff Triplets. 3 colorless, 3 green. It's a 3/3 trample. Whenever enters, if it isn't a token, create 2 tokens that are copies of it. When Gruff Triplets dies, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to its power on each creature you control named Gruff Triplets. So it comes in, there's 3 of them. When one of them dies, the other 2 get stronger. When the second one dies, the first one gets even stronger. So it's a good card. I just don't think it's for this deck. So that's the deck right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at how we are going to change this around to make it a little bit more suitable. Okay, so we're back. This is my version of the deck. So you can already see I've cut out the 6 mana creatures. They're gone now. So our top end is at 5, but those 5 mana cards have other things you can do with them. You can use Ardent Veil of Fealty on Virtue of Loyalty to create a 2/2 Knight, which is good early, or you can plot away the Railway Brawler to use later. So it's not too mana intensive. But looking at the rest of the deck, we are running 3 Steer Clear, so I increased that from 2 to 3. I added in Tyvar's Stand because I really wanted some way to protect our creatures. And Tyvar's Stand is a great method because it gives hexproof and indestructible, so it's good for stopping spot removal, and you can use it as a pump spell. We also have 2 copies of Invasion of Gobakon. This is a card I used to play a lot, but I'm trying it out in this deck, hoping it's going to be good. So 2 mana. When Invasion of Gobakon enters, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast. So you exile a card out of your opponent's hand, make it more expensive for them. So you ideally will want to play this on a turn that is important to your opponent. Let's say, for example, you know your opponent is playing black, and we're getting up to turn 4. So it's your turn 3 into their turn 4, and you're afraid that they might play a Sheldred. Well, let's drop an Invasion of Gobekon, take a look at their hand, and see if that Sheldred's in there, and then make that card cost 6 instead of 4, which may give you enough time to crash through with your mounts. Now, the backside of it, when you defeat this invasion, you get Light Shield Array, which is a really strong effect. It's an enchantment, and it says, at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that attacked this turn. Sacrifice Light Shield Array. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until a turn. So, same effects as Tyvar's Stand, but it's for your entire team. This is a really good way to protect against specific board wipes. It doesn't do anything against things like Sunfall and like Exile effects, but Destroy effects, this stops dead in its tracks. It's a really good card. And even if you don't need the protection, putting +1/+1 counters on your creatures every turn, pretty good. I like it. Okay, now we're getting to the creatures. We have 2 Cankerbloom. This was not in the original deck. I decided I wanted to put it in here because I wanted to shore up the 2 mana slot with a creature that will either proliferate our +1/+1 counters or give us versatility to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Now, we also are running the Intrepid Stable Master. I cranked that up to a 4 of because it's mana ramp, and it's mana ramp for the things that you want to do in this game. So I brought that up to 4. Here's a new one. This is Miriam the Herd Whisperer. For 1 white and 1 green, you get a 3/2 Legendary Human Druid. During your turn, mounts and vehicles you control have hexproof. Whenever a mount or vehicle you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So make your mounts bigger, protect them on your turn. Really good. Honestly, surprised this wasn't in the original deck. Seraphic Steed, I bumped this up to a 3 of, just because it's just the best. It's just the best thing on 4 legs and a horn. It's really good. I love being able to crew this up, attack with it, make angels. Really cool. Fortune, Loyal Steed, I kept it in here, but I did not increase the count. I kept it to just 1, because I do like the ability to scry, and also saddle up, blink your creatures back, blink Fortune back into play, and have it be an untapped blocker, and also give you that scry effect again. So I want to keep at least 1 Fortune in here. Drover Grizzly, we're running 2 of those. Henri Tumblewag, I brought that up to a 2 of, because he's probably one of the better mounts. This guy really allows you to snowball really easily. Outcaster Trailblazer, I brought this up to a 2 of as well, mostly because it's a 4 power creature on turn 3. You can also plot it, and it draws you cards when you play other 4+ power creatures. Then there's the Congregation Griff. Again, really like this creature, keeping it a 2 of. Wily Duke, it's a 2 of. I really like Wily Duke. It's probably one of the better cards for this deck. If I was doing a no limits upgrade build to this, he would definitely be up to a 3 of. Giant Beaver. 1, I like that there's a Giant Beaver in this deck. That's pretty cool. Secondly, it's a 4/4 Vigilance for 4. You can saddle it up for only 3 and start putting +1/+1 counters on things. Pretty good. And the Virtual Loyalty, that's a new addition to the deck. I wanted something that would be able to untap my creatures on my opponent's turn, because we're going to be tapping down so much of our stuff to saddle up. And I think this is a really good card to have. Again, another card that I would probably be running 2 or 3 of in a more focused build. And then Railway Brawler, it's just a good card. Just an all-around good card. One thing to note is it's not just creatures you play from your hand, it's creatures that are created, like token creatures. So Railway Brawler will put 3 +1/+1 counters on an angel created from Seraphic Steed. Just keep that in mind. That's a pretty cool synergy. And the plot is nice. Again, lands are completely untouched. We did not do anything to the mana base. We are sticking to the 25 lands that they started us off with. So this is the deck. It's a little bit more focused now, and you're still at 15 or fewer rares and mythics, so we are still within budget. So cool. Let's go play some games, and that's it. I don't know what else you want me to say. We're going to go play some games now. Okay, what do we got today? So we have 2 planes, Forest, Virtue of Loyalty, Miriam, Seraphic Steed times 2. That honestly doesn't look too bad. Yeah, let's go for it. Alright, first land is going to be a plane, so we'll play the Forest to follow up with. Storm Chaser's Talent. Okay, so we're up against Otters. Alright, let's go here. And we're going to go with the Seraphic Steed first. The reason for is the first strike and the lifelink is going to be a huge target for them. Oh, they're playing green. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Works for me. If we can get some more of those removal spells out of their hand nice and early, that'd be great. Okay, let's go ahead. Do you want to play the Drover Grizzly, Miriam, or the Virtue? I think we're going to play the Creosote Heath first. It's going to deal 1 damage. And then we're going to play another Seraphic Steed and see what they do. Hopefully they don't have another Bite Down in their hand. And they did. I should have seen it, but I was hoping against hope. Alright, next turn. Alright, well, we'll play something that's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to deal with, and that is going to be... Actually, do we want to play the Congregation Gryph now? Or we'll play it now. To hell with it. Get ourselves a nice big boy out there. See how they deal with 4 toughness. Oh, Pearl of Wisdom. Draw 2 cards. Into another Storm Chaser's Talent. Okay. I will choose not to block, because you have 1 green mana open. Alright, my turn. Let's go ahead and play Miriam. Then I'm going to attack with the Congregation Gryph. It's going to get a +1/+1 counter from Miriam. It's going to get us 2 points of health back. There we go. And that's going to allow us to keep 2 mana open for Virtue of Loyalty. Alright, they're up to 5 mana. Getting into scary territory there. Pass. Okay, well, we're going to start by casting Archvale Fealty. Or at least attempting to. He's probably has counters while magic. I guess not. Alright, we'll block just 1. So I don't want to block with Miriam. Overprotect. And that's why we didn't do it. We'll get some trample too. That's so good. Overprotect there too. Okay. Boys are getting big. A little bit too big. Oh my gosh. Okay. I might just lose here. Alright, we go to 2. We're not dead yet. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and go next and attack with the Congregation Gryph again. Okay. And then we'll play a second Congregation Gryph, keeping mana open for Steer Clear. They're only down to a couple cards left. Okay, they have 1 card left in the hand. That's great. Okay, they go to level 2. And what are they going to bring back from their graveyard? Maybe Snakeskin Veil? Oh no, they have only 1 blue open, not green. So they're bringing the Overprotect back in. Are they going to attack anyways? They cast into the Floodmaw. So I will open with this. Make it so they only get 2 damage through. You know what? I will block. To hell with it. Get rid of both your creatures. Alright, let's go ahead and play... Do you want the Giant Beaver? Nah, I think we want the... We're gonna do both the congregation glyphs. Now we're gonna start turning this game around if we can. Goes to level 2. Get another spell back from the graveyard. And gets our draw spell. Okay. Let's play the Creosote Heath. Deal damage. Alright. Pop him. We'll go ahead and play the Drover Grizzly. End turn. Yeah, that'll do it. That's the thing about the Otters deck. You deal with the creatures, they don't have anything to prowess up. So, there you go. Good game. Okay, so this open honestly isn't too bad. It's 4 lands, which is quite a bit, but it has 3 2-mana spells here. So I think we're going to keep it, play the Creosote Heath on 1, and then maybe the Forest or the Plains on 2. I mulliganed it. Alright, whatever. Alright, let's keep it instead. Okay, we'll keep, and we're going to send the Giant Beaver back. Alright, Lush Portico first. Seraphic Steed can stay. And to play a Plains into a Case of the Uneaten Feast. So this is a life gain deck. So let's go here and here. Alright, play a second Plains into a Get Lost. Okay, so we'll play Plains into Seraphic Steed. We'll explore once. Put Fortune down here. Don't really need him. Ruin Lurker Bat. Okay. Gains 1 life. Ruin Lurker Bat times 2. Gains a life. Alright. Let's go here. And let's see. We can do Herd Whisperer. Or we can plot the Railway Brawler. Let's start with attack for 3. See what they do. Take it. I'm gonna plot the Railway Brawler. I'm going to play a 4th Plains into Archangel Elspeth. Alright, Mega Dude. Alright, so what we'll do here is we're going to go ahead and hit the Railway Brawler. Then I'm going to play Miriam. And we'll Seraphic Steed like so. And then we're going to activate this, tapping Miriam, so we can saddle. Play that Forest. Then next, attack you know who. Okay, alright. I guess they didn't like that. I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool. Getting the 6/6 angels sounds like a good thing. Okay, so what do we got here? So we have Plains and Forest into Fortune, Tyvar Stand, Cankerbloom, Intrepid Stable Master, and a Congregation Glyph. It seems good. Got a lot of creatures. Let's go for it. We even get to go first. Looks like they're mulliganing. Or taking a mulligan. Mulliganing is not a word. Alright, they go Plains. Okay, so we're gonna go Plains as well, and we're gonna go Intrepid Stable Master. Get a little bit of ramp. Alright, they play a Swamp. Probably gonna kill my guy. Oh, Essence Channeler. Okay. Works for me. Alright, let's go here. And do we want Fortune or Glyph? I think we want Fortune. I don't think we need those lands, so let's send those downriver. And next, no attacks. End turn. And we can use the Intrepid Stable Master to save our creature if we need to. But it looks like they're just tapping out for a Patchwork Banner. Bat, of course. I would name Bat. Alright, my turn. Alright, let's go ahead and play the Lush Portico. Virtue Loyalty. I like that. I'm going to keep that right there. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead. And we're going to saddle up with the Intrepid Stable Master. Then next, we're going to attack for 2. Alright. Bring him back. Scry again. Actually, nah. Put him down there. Alright, they're going to play the Canker Bloom. Say end turn. Alright, play Plains. Moonrise Cleric. Whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life. Okay, cool. We'll stand that. Alright, sweet, my turn. We'll go to the Creosote Heath, and then we are going to... Let's see. Yeah, we're going to saddle up with Intrepid Stable Master again. Go next. Attack, attack. See what you do. Alright, just go straight through. Yeah, we will exile just so we can have a blocker. Scry 2. Ooh, Ornery Tumblewag and Seraphic Steed. Do we have something of 4 power? No. Okay, so send the Seraphic Steed down. I think we'll keep the Tumblewag though. And do we want the Congregation Gryph? Yeah, we'll take the Congregation Gryph. And end turn. Alright, play another Plains. So they have 2 cards left in hand that they can play with. And I have mana available to pop the Canker Bloom if I need to. Ooh, Archangel of Wrath. Okay. What are you targeting? Okay, just that. Alright, so that's going to force me to destroy their artifact. Alright, coming out with the Moonrise Cleric. Perfect. Alright, so both of those block there. Alright, you lose your Cleric. I'm just going to straight up play the Virtue of Loyalty as an enchantment. Because we do not need our creatures to attack in order to get the +1 counters. We're just going to start making our guys big. Okay, he's going to makeshift binding my creature. Cool. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Beginning of combat of your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever Ornery Tumblewag attacks while saddled, double the number of counters on target creature. Okay, so, oh, cancel. This is going to saddle up with that. Submit 2. Next, +1 counter there, and attack. Alright, takes it. Yes, we will exile both of those, bring them back. Fortune shows me a giant beaver. I like giant beavers. Alright, in the turn, our friends get some +1 counters. I just noticed a little non-bow there. exiling the creatures every turn is not going to be great with Virtue of Loyalty. But you know what? That's okay. Good game, friend. Yeah, I just kind of grinded him out of options there. Yeah, once he had the once he no longer had the angel, he was kind of out of that game. He could have potentially drawn into something, but it wasn't looking that way for him. Or maybe he just didn't want to wait for it. Okay, so we got 3 lands here. Plains, and Forest, 2 Intrepid Stable Master, that's pretty cool. A Seraphic Steed, and an Ornery Tumblewag. I'll keep it. Looks doable. Right, play a Forest into Exalia's Lorekeeper, so we are up against dinosaurs. So we might get outpaced here. Alright, play a Mountain. Take that one. We're gonna play an Intrepid Stable Master. Play Mountain into Watley. Okay, Poet of Unity. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand. So they go a Plains. So this is a Naya deck. How interesting. Let's see. Yeah, let's go. Gosh, I only have access to 1. Or do I? 2 men of any one color. Ah, shucks. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll play Miriam. We can still play the Seraphic Steed, but we would be burning ourselves out of 1 mana. So we'll play the Ornery Tumblewag instead. Get a +1 counter on the Tumblewag itself. End turn. Alright, they play that Plains. And do nothing. Sweet. Alright, let's go here, and we're going to play Wily Duke. That's a good guy. I like him. Alright. And then we are going to saddle up with Wily. Cool, they got us a Griff. So we will actually spend some mana and make that Griff happen. Then we are going to say next, +1 counter. Actually, +1 counter on Miriam, and we're going to attack with both of those. And +1 counter there. Big boy. Ha! Ha! Give him the 10. This deck can snowball. Earthshaker Dreadmaw, the big man. 6/6 trample. When enters, draw a card for each of the dinosaur you control. Oh, he was in a pretty bad spot right there. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to play the Seraphic Steed. Then I'm going to crew up this. We need a crew of 3, so we're going to crew with Wily Duke on that one. Draw a card. And then we're going to crew up for 2 on this one. So we're going to tap the Intrepid to crew up there. I'm going to say next, +1 counter here. And we're going to attack here and here. We're going to double the counters here. Just to force a block. Alright. Play the Creosote Heath. And another Intrepid Stable Master. And then we end the turn. That's a big Tumblewag, oh my god. Can you activate? Oh, it plays Invasion of Ikoria. What are you gonna go get? A Pugnacious Hammerskull. Alright. And he's going after it. Okay, so that's gonna block there. That's gonna block there. Yeah, I don't think he actually thought he was gonna get it. Yeah, that's game. Got too many creatures on the board. That is pretty cool though. I mean, this deck can, like, really snowball. A lot of +1 counters going around with this deck. Alright, so we get to go first. That's awesome. So we have a Creosote Heath and a Forest, Invasion of Gobakon, Tyvar Stand, Honorary Tumbleweed, Giant Beaver, and Railway Brawler. That's not great. Yeah, we're gonna have to mulligan that. Ooh, not good either. But we got lands, Invasion, Stable Master, and Tumblewag. So we'll keep this one. And we're gonna send back one of the 2 planes. Play the Lush Portico first. Wily Duke, that can stay. I like Wily. They play Fabled Passage. Alright, I'm going to play this Plains into an Intrepid Stable Master. Alright, that's cute. Alright, they're going to play Fabled Passage. Alright, they get a Plains out. Plains in Swamp. Okay, so we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go into. I'm just gonna go into the Drover Grizzly right now to potentially eat out some removal. So I want to play things that are not very important right now. That's totally fine. Resolve all. All right, I got a bear. He's a good boy. Alright, play Plains. Stroke of Midnight. Okay. Creature dies, but I do get a creature for my trouble, so I'll take it. I'm just going to go ahead and play Wily Duke. Oh, Wily's here. Swing it. Haven't seen that card in a long time. Alright, second swamp. And bring out something to kill my Wily. Yep, sure did. Rest in peace. Okay, so he wants to make sure that we don't play stuff from the graveyard. That's totally fine. So let's go ahead and play the old Honorary Tumblewag. Get a +1 counter on a guy here, courtesy of yours truly. By yours, I mean you, my opponent. You gave me the creature, so thank you. I plays a Mirex into a Collector's Vault. Okay. Draw a card, discard a card, create a treasure token. That card was a Fabled Passage. Interesting. Interesting deck you got there. So, I want to see what you have. Show me. Sun's Twilight and Kaya. Kaya's not being played for another couple turns. So let's ditch that. Go next. +1 counter there. Attack here. Attack here. Go. We're going to get our Invasion of Gobakon. That's going to give us +1 counters on our guys, because they both attack this turn. And we can sacrifice that at any time for Indestructible. Super cool. Alright, he's trying to get some mana. I feel like he may have missed his land drop this turn. Otherwise, he would have just played Kaya out. What did he discard? Caretaker's Talent. Lord Skitter! Lord Skitter is here. Okay, make a rat. A rat that can't block. Alright, my turn. Ooh, nice. We'll take that. So, next, +1 counter there. All attack. He's got 2 mana available. Can't really do anything with it. Okay, he's gonna block. Perfect. Pop, pop. Alright, let's go and play Fortune. We'll scrap a 2 with that. Send that down. We'll keep the Creosote Heath. We might be able to just burn him out with a land. +1 counters. Okay. Hexproof and Indestructible. So we can get around this using Light Shield Array. We can also get around this using Tyvar Stand. Okay, so he's playing Kaya. See what option he chooses. Each one loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. Okay, cool. I'm into that.
It's what you deserve.
It's what I deserve, huh? Okay. Alright, so let's see here. We are going to saddle using fortune, actually. And then next, +1 counter there. Attack, attack here. Double the counters on that creature. So that's more than 14 right there. We don't have to Tiber stand. Got him. How you like that? We beat a control deck. That's pretty sweet. Okay, and we are back with our post-game wrap-up. And thoughts on the deck are... It's good. Your eyes did not deceive you. I did not cut out all the losses. There were no losses with this deck. This deck won every game that we played today. The only game that I did not include was a game against Simic Frogs, where they just gave up on turn 4, and I didn't really think that was a good deck to showcase, so I cut that one out. So you did get 5 full games here today, and yeah, we won every game we played. This deck works. I mean, as proof of concept. I really think the reason why it works is because of all of the protection that we added into the deck. Having on-demand protection with Tyvar's Stand and with Invasion of Gobakon by sacrificing the Light Shield Array really gives this deck what it needs to survive. So that, and also the fact that this deck runs like 26 creatures or whatever, it's a critical mass of creatures with only a handful of spells. The Steer Clear is really good against most things, and whatever this doesn't kill, you're likely just going to run over with your creatures that are much larger than theirs. The Canker Bloom is great. I love having this in here just as a way to not only deal with problematic artifacts or enchantments, but having a way to proliferate in case your opponent is not on an enchantment or artifact strategy. So this card never goes wasted. The Intrepid Stablemaster is great. Miriam is surprisingly good, and again, I don't know why this was not included in the starter deck. I mean, this card is just really great. Seraphic Steed, also fantastic card. Fortune ended up being better than I expected it to be, even though we weren't abusing comes into play effects with this, but being able to have that Scry 2 often and repeatable was really good for this deck. Let's see, Henri Tumblewag ended up being like MVP, like surprisingly solid creature here. This guy gets so big so fast, especially if you can saddle him. Outcaster Trailblazer is decent, but didn't really shine in the games that we played, so I can't really give too positive of a review for the Outcaster Trailblazer. Congregation Griff is another fantastic role player in this deck, though, just because it has flying. Like the flying and the lifelink and being able to pump it with other creatures, really, really solid. Wily Duke, perfect example of a role player for this deck. Definitely upgrade this to a 3-up if you have the means. Giant Beaver, this is probably something you can cut. I mean, this card is kind of a meme. It's just a big, stupid beaver, and I like him, so I kept him in. But feel free to take this out. He's very silly. Virtual Loyalty, great card, especially being able to untap your creatures on the opponent's turn. And Railway Brawler ended up doing exactly what I wanted it to do. Make big angel tokens. It was very, very solid in that game versus the mono white life gain deck. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, the deck did very well today. I'm very happy with it. So if you wanted to take this deck out for a spin, I'll leave a link to the deck list in the description box down below. And if you liked it, iterate on it further, make it your own, and see what you can do with this deck too. And if you liked this content, if you like what I do here and you want to see more of it, then do the YouTube things. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.